If you like storytime vibes, hit subscribe and let's dive in together.
I froze the moment they burst into laughter, dragging up my wife's so called prehistoric incident like it was some ancient joke meant to humiliate her. She just sat there, stiff, eyes lowered, accepting the shame as if she'd been carrying it her whole life. I didn't understand why she never defended herself, why she let them treat her like the villain of a story no one even remembered clearly. But then the room went silent. The door opened, and the person they all believed to be the long ago victim, the center of the entire prehistoric scandal, stepped inside. Their face wasn't angry, it wasn't afraid, it was determined. And with one sentence, they shattered everything everyone thought they knew about my wife and about the truth we had all been blind to. I used to believe I knew everything about my wife, Elena, the way she scrunched her nose when thinking, the way she hummed when nervous, the way she held my hand a second longer whenever she needed reassurance. Ours was a peaceful, predictable life. The kind of life people point at and say, that's stability, that's love. But stability is an illusion. One careless breath can shatter it. The night everything cracked open started like any ordinary gathering. Her old university friends had invited us to a small party. Nothing grand, just a living room filled with nostalgia and cheap wine. I didn't know them well, but they welcomed me warmly. Or at least, that's what I thought. Alana smiled too brightly the entire evening. Her fingers trembled slightly around her glass. I assumed it was just social anxiety. I didn't know it was fear. Midway through the night, someone mentioned a name, Lana. The entire room shifted. The laughter softened. The energy tightened like a string pulled too hard. I felt Elena freeze beside me, her breath catching in her throat. Then someone chuckled, a light, careless, cutting sound. Oh, those prehistoric school year dramas, he said, waving his hand. Tao Su stuff, but still juicy. My stomach dropped. I didn't know the name, but I recognized the tone. Gossip sharpened by old grudges. Another voice followed, louder, bolder, like someone who had been waiting years to reopen a wound. You never told your husband about what happened, Elena? About how you made Lana's life hell back then? The room fell silent. My pulse roared in my ears. I stared at my wife. Her eyes were glassy, pleading. Something inside me twisted violently. Shock, disbelief, a faint nausea swirling low in my gut. People kept talking, details spilling out, distorted, exaggerated, gleeful. They painted Elena as cruel, manipulative, the villain of a story I had never heard. Laughter grew again, sharp, cruel, echoing around the room. And as I stood there, trying to breathe, trying to understand, the front door opened. Every head turned. A woman stepped in, quiet, composed. Her gaze immediately locked onto Elena. Someone whispered her name. Lana. The room exhaled like it had been holding its breath for years. She looked straight at me and said, "You deserve to know the truth. Not their version." Lana's voice wasn't loud, but it sliced cleanly through the humid tension hanging in the room. She stepped closer, her expression unreadable. No anger, no triumph, no lingering resentment, just an unsettling calmness that made every whisper die instantly. "I'm not here to reopen wounds," she said. "But I'm also not going to let people drag Elena through mud using stories they never understood." My chest tightened. A part of me braced for the worst. Another part wanted desperately for her words to save the woman standing beside me. Lana turned toward the others first. Not me. Not Elena. Them. "You all still tell this story like it was some epic betrayal," she said. "Like it was one of those prehistoric legends, Su, passed down and polished until it sparkles more than the truth ever did." A few people stiffened. Others looked away. Then she looked at me. "Your wife made a mistake," Lana continued. "A terrible one. But it wasn't cruelty. It wasn't malice, it was fear, and it was aimed at the wrong person. Me. My throat dried. I forced myself to breathe. Lana kept her tone steady, clinical even, but every word felt like a blow I had to absorb. In our final year of university, someone spread rumors about me. Cruel rumors. Elena thought I was the one who started a lie about her friend. She confronted me, angry and misinformed. It escalated. People took sides. And yes, I got hurt. Badly. The room shifted again. Eyes darted toward Elena, toward me, toward each other. Elena's fingers dug into her palm. She still hadn't spoken. But what none of you ever cared to know, Lana said, turning slowly in a circle, is that Elena found out the truth. She discovered who actually hurt her friend. And she came to me sobbing, absolutely devastated by what she'd done. Someone scoffed. Lana's eyes snapped toward them, sharp enough to cut. She apologized, and I forgave her, years ago, long before any of you turned the story into your personal entertainment. Silence fell, heavy, choking, almost metallic. I felt myself swaying slightly, as if the floor had become unsteady. A part of me wanted to grab Elena's hand. Another part wanted answers. Raw, unfiltered, unedited. Lana then delivered the detail that sucked all the air from my lungs. And what none of you know is that Elena didn't just apologize, she protected me. She stood up for me publicly. She lost friends because she defended me, while all of you kept repeating the lie. She turned toward Elena, eyes softening just slightly. She paid for that mistake more than I ever did. Then Lana looked at me again. But I think your husband deserves to hear the part she's still afraid to tell. Lana leaned in and whispered, because the real reason she stayed silent is standing in this room right now. I didn't want to ask. I didn't want to know. But the moment Lana said the reason Elena stayed silent was, in this room, my skin prickled like ice crawling across my back. I swallowed hard. My voice trembled anyway. Who was it? Lana didn't point immediately. Instead, she scanned the room, letting the silence thicken. People shifted in their seats, avoiding eye contact, glancing nervously at each other as if guilt might accidentally cling to them. Then she exhaled, a slow, decisive breath. It was your host, she said. All heads snapped toward Daniel, standing stiffly by the counter, one hand frozen around his drink. The man who greeted us warmly. The man who invited us here. The man who chuckled earlier when Lana's name was mentioned. His smile cracked. Not broken, shattered. Elena's knees buckled and she gripped the edge of a chair. I reached out instinctively, but she took a tiny step away. Ashamed. Terrified I might recoil from her. My heart twisted. Lana continued, voice steady but cold enough to freeze the room. Daniel was the one who spread the rumor about me in college. And when Elena confronted me, he encouraged the misunderstanding. He pushed it. He fueled it. He made sure everyone believed I was the villain. Daniel's face drained of color. That's ridiculous, he snapped. We were kids. It wasn't even serious. It destroyed me. Lana cut in sharply. It destroyed Elena too. But you already knew that, didn't you? People murmured. Uneasy. Shifting. The air felt heavy. Thick like smoke. Daniel's jaw tightened. I didn't force Elena to do anything. No, Lana replied. You just manipulated the situation. And when Elena learned the truth, when she tried to fix things, you made sure nobody listened. You made sure the story lived on. Because a good scandal is more fun than the truth, right? A few guests looked down, ashamed. Some exchanged wide-eyed glances. I felt my pulse hammering beneath my skin, anger rising like a tide. This wasn't just gossip. This wasn't just a rumor. This was a wound forged by someone Elena trusted, someone she still called a friend, someone who invited us to his home tonight. Daniel lifted his chin, trying to reclaim his authority. That was ages ago. Toi Tien Su. Why are we dragging it back now? Lana's voice sharpened like a blade. Because you never stopped dragging it back. Even tonight. The room fell absolutely silent. Then Daniel's lips curled into a defensive smirk. Do you have any proof? Lana turned her phone toward him. It's your old message thread, Daniel. The one you thought you deleted. The one where you bragged about ruining Elena and me. The room felt like it was holding its breath. Every eye was fixed on Lana's phone, on the long thread of messages Daniel thought he had erased from time. His old words glowed on the screen like accusations carved in fire. I watched Daniel's pupils contract, his throat tightening. He didn't deny it at first. He simply stared. Then something shifted in his face, a twitch, a flicker, a dangerous calculation. And suddenly, he smiled, a thin, venomous smile. You all really believe this? He scoffed. People fake messages all the time. And Elena is the one with a history of lying, isn't she? After all, she fooled her own husband about her past. The room tilted. My vision sharpened. Heat rose in my chest. Rage, violent and sudden. Behind me, Elena let out a soft gasp, like she'd been struck. Daniel kept going, stepping forward as if he smelled blood. Think about it, he said loudly, sweeping the room with his voice. If Elena could torment someone back then, what makes you think she's innocent now? She's always been good at playing the victim. Look at her. She can't even speak. I moved before I realized it, blocking his view of her, standing between them, my voice low, trembling with fury I barely held in. Don't talk to her. Don't even look at her. His smirk faltered. People stared. Some gasped. The room shifted around us, energy crackling like a storm about to split the ceiling. Daniel lifted his hands mockingly. Wow, didn't know she trained you this well. The rage that shot through me almost pushed me forward. Almost made me grab his shirt, slam him against the wall. But a soft touch caught my arm. Elena. Her fingers were shaking. Please, don't, she whispered. And that broke something inside me. Not my control, but the part of me that had stayed silent too long. I looked at her, truly looked, and for the first time since the night began, I understood the fear in her eyes. She wasn't afraid of the truth. She was afraid of losing me. I turned back to Daniel, my voice steadier than I felt. You don't get to rewrite her story. Not anymore. You've controlled it for years. You won't control it tonight. Lana stepped up beside me. A united front. She's right, Lana said coldly to the crowd. He kept the lie alive. He enjoyed watching Elena collapse under it. And he's doing it again. Daniel barked a humorless laugh. You're all pathetic. You think she changed? People don't change. And then the twist came. A woman in the back, someone Elena once called a friend, stood up and said, You're wrong, Daniel. We changed. You didn't. Slowly, one by one, people stepped away from him. For the first time all night, Daniel looked truly afraid. Daniel's confidence collapsed slowly, like a tall structure losing its balance beam by beam. He tried to recover, straighten his shirt, lift his chin, but the room no longer belonged to him. No smirk could hide the truth on Lana's phone. No manipulation could pull the crowd back to his side. For the first time, he looked truly small. Someone murmured, How could you do that? Another said, All those years. We believed you. Daniel's lips parted, but no words came out. Then Elena stepped forward. Her knees were shaking, her breathing uneven. But she walked until she stood between Lana and Daniel, between past and present, guilt and forgiveness. Her voice cracked as she began. I stayed silent because I was ashamed, not of my mistake, but of who I became afterward. She swallowed hard. When I learned the truth back then, when I found out Daniel was the one who hurt Lana, I tried to fix it. I tried to tell people, but no one listened. They said I was lying to protect myself. Her eyes glistened. It broke something in me, a part I never got back. The room quieted, heavy with remorse. Elena looked at Lana then, really looked, and whispered, I will always be sorry. Lana reached out and squeezed her hand. You already paid for it, she said softly. More than enough. Then the unexpected happened. The woman who defended Elena earlier stepped closer and said, I'm sorry too. Another joined. Then another. Until a circle of people surrounded Elena and Lana, not in accusation, but in apology. Bittersweet warmth washed over me, but the ache remained. The ache of realizing how much my wife had carried alone. Daniel finally spoke, voice trembling with something between fear and disbelief. You're all turning on me? Over this? Over some stupid mistake from years ago? Lana's eyes were cold. It wasn't the mistake. It was the pride you wrapped it in. A few people walked him toward the door. Not violently, but firmly. He didn't fight. He just left, swallowed by the night. Silence returned. A gentler silence this time. I looked at Elena. She avoided my gaze, scared of what she might see in my eyes. I stepped closer. She flinched, just slightly. Hey, I whispered. Look at me. Slowly, painfully, she did. I wish you told me, I said. Not because I would judge you, but because I never wanted you to carry all that alone. Her tears fell, quiet, trembling, relieved. I was afraid, she breathed. Afraid you'd see me the way they did. I brushed a tear from her cheek. I see you exactly as you are, flawed, human, trying, and still mine. Her body loosened, the tension unspooling like a thread pulled free. Around us, people whispered apologies again, promising change, promising to remember the truth, not the legend. But legends don't die easily. They linger, they echo. As we walked out into the cool night air, Elena held my hand tightly, as if anchoring herself to something real. She whispered, Is it over? I squeezed her hand. Not over, I said. But it's no longer haunting you alone. Above us, the night was quiet, gentle, but underneath the calm, I felt it. A faint, unshakable truth. Some scars heal, others simply learn to stop bleeding.